Okay. Alright. Back again for some more content. So, today, what was bestowed upon me today, and actually last night, listen, this has been a very reflective period. Granted, I'm always reflecting because my life journey is to become my best self and my best self, my higher self, right? To strive to that. And with me reflecting, I was just thinking about my move here, and I moved from LA after being, if you don't already know the story, I was in LA for like 9 months, and I, not 9 months, I was in LA for 9 years. Now I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, I'm on the outskirts. Scratch that. I don't want to be one of those people that say I live in Atlanta, and I don't. I'm like 40 miles outside of Atlanta, okay? In a place called Ackworth, Georgia, for those that know. Lips feeling a little dry, so let me reapplicate. Okay, so as I was reflecting, I was pondering about how during my trajectory, I feel like I lowered who I was. And let me break that down for those that, let me just break it down, okay? I feel like over the past 7 years, I used to be, and I'll say maybe 5 to 6 years, let's give it 5 to 6 years, right? A lot of this transition happened whilst I was still in LA. I noticed that majority of my life, I noticed that when it comes to issues or conflict mediation, myself, I was always, not always, most times, the bigger person, the person to say, hey, let's talk about this. Hey, I notice your energy is off. Did I did something wrong? Let's talk about it, right? Some people will call that being confrontational. I will say maybe you don't live this life without having some type of confrontation. You have to. Whether it's negative or positive, it is what it is, but you will have some type of confrontation in your life. I think the word confrontation gets a really bad rap, a very bad energy behind it, because confrontation is always looked at something that's negative, and it's not necessarily the case. So anyway, I just got to the point where I saw, or I noticed, or I felt that I was the impetus to a lot of things. I was the impetus to keeping in contact with a lot of people. I was the impetus of initiating even like something small like gift giving, or over time, when you notice that you are the initiator of a lot of things, you start to second guess yourself, like, why am I the one that's doing all the initiating? And for myself, I started second guessing myself, like, well, okay, I'm not going to be the only one initiating, because it starts to make you feel some type of way that is not being reciprocated back to you. And not saying it has to be, excuse me, reciprocated back to you exactly the same, but it needs to be in a way like to make you feel like you matter or you value. I think that's the biggest part, right? So for myself, when I noticed that, or I felt that I was an initiator of a lot of things, I started saying, well, hey, if this person not gonna do that, then I'm not gonna do that. If so-and-so don't do this, then I'm not doing that. And that's not who I am. And I started becoming somewhat tit for tat. Not in all situations, but in some situations, because I feel like if you're giving all your energy to something that is not being reciprocated over time, not just like one or two things, like multiple, like a pattern, you notice it's a pattern, you look back and say, hey, well, where is the energy coming from you? Where is the effort coming from you? And it made me feel a certain type of way, like I'm not of value, so I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna start doing what you do, treating you the way you treat me. And granted, sometimes you do have to take your energy back. I'm not saying that you don't, but if it's in you to be that bigger person And if you notice when you're lowering who you are to somebody else's standards and you're still not feeling adequate, then that's just who you are. And I'm having to deal with, okay, I'm just this person that I initiate conversation, I initiate powwows, I can bring people together. This is who I am. This is what God bestowed upon me, and I have to accept it. Sometimes you have to surrender to accept. And I've been fighting it for some years now. Just fighting it. My ego not being happy with the energy that I'm reciprocating back. But energy is energy. You know what I mean? And the fact that I am not feeling adequate, that means that I cannot live like other people. This is what my path is. So I just urge people, I know it's hard sometimes when you feel like you're being taken advantage of, or you feel like that people aren't giving you the same energy or similar energy or energy enough that will influence you feeling secure with those relationships. Take a step back, evaluate the relationship, and see, instead of you changing who you are, just see if the person or the situation itself is worth you pouring into. That's what I'm trying to gripe with. I don't want to change who I am, because I have changed who I am. I've become a little tit for tat. Not in a big way, but I noticed it. I noticed that I stopped doing things that I would normally do. I would initiate certain things, and I no longer do that, but it still doesn't sit well for me because I feel like I've changed who I am according to who other people are. I can't change. I cannot not be a decent person because you don't want to be a decent person. That doesn't make sense, because then we're going to be living in a world full of the same type of people. I don't know why this concept, why I'm having such a difficult time talking about this. This is like my second take discussing this. I don't even want to say indecent, right? I don't want to say indecent. This is not the movie Indecent Proposal, but just be who you are. Be your authentic self, and don't let the world break you down and be somebody that you're not. That's the gist of it.